I'm Mark Kelly. The Fifth Estate starts now. These laboratory lungs are the testing ground in a multi-billion-dollar battle to build a safer cigarette. And at the heart of it, big tobacco. This is the residue that's left from the traditional tobacco cigarette. This is the residue that's left from the e-cigarette. Old cigarette, new cigarette. But can the people who hooked us be trusted to help us? Are you telling me that Imperial Tobacco is pro-health? It's 8 a.m. and this guy's got a busy day ahead of him. First, he's got to go save someone's life and then go up against the law.
Very extensively damaged arteries.
This heart surgeon has to undo the damage of his patient's addiction. He smoked a pack a day for 40 years.
It's quit smoking, but damage has been done. So.
And the damage is extreme. His lungs are like a coal miner's.
Almost all heavy smokers will have carbon built up in their lungs. That's that blackness in the lungs.
Dr. Gopal Bhatnagar says enough is enough.
Society's concerned about the cost of health care.
It's a lot cheaper to avoid disease than it is to treat it.
So to try to prevent more death and disease from smoking, the good doctor is now breaking bad. He opened this vape shop, selling electronic cigarettes. So doctor, here's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
How does a surgeon
Right.
end up in the business of owning and running a vape store?
Well, I've seen the harm that cigarette smoking has caused and the incredible difficulty people have had trying to get off. Even after heart surgery, many people can't get off cigarettes.
You think that vaping is the solution to get people off cigarettes?
Well, for me, it's a solution that's been created by smokers for themselves because the medical paradigm has failed. We have forced...
This is what they want. You're giving
They,
people what they want inside this story right here.
They want desperately to get off cigarettes.
So what's the catch? Well, he's selling something that's considered illegal. E-cigarettes that contain nicotine. They're not approved by Health Canada, prohibited for sale.
Smokers are people. They're members of our society. They're my patients. You know, they're our family, friends, and neighbors. We just can't vilify them and say quit or die.
Instead of quit or die, smokers are being given a new option. And these people are on the front lines of it.
How you doing?
Pretty good, you?
A mass movement aimed at breaking free from a deadly addiction.
My name's Mark. This is my introduction into the world of vaping. Yeah?
Bye-bye, big tobacco. These people have managed to make the switch to e-cigarettes. They're not smokers, they're vapors.
It's really smokers trying to get them to quit.
E-cigs are winning over more and more converts every day.
You want to try? Sure. Blue. Okay, I've never done this before. What am I doing?
Push the button and help.
Zero nicotine?
Zero.
I'm not a smoker, but I'm ready to do my homework on this.
Tastes like bubble gum.
It's a device for smokers to quit burning products into their lungs.
So it's good for me.
No, it is better than smoking. It's been around for over 10 years. I mean, nobody's died from it.
Nobody's died from it? Well, that's a claim big tobacco can't make about cigarettes. And that's the point.
Take it like this. I'm a personal trainer and I promote this.
Were you smoking cigarettes before?
7 years.
How long have you been vaping?
Year and a half now.
Do you think that this is helping you get off the cigarettes?
Ever since I started this, that was done.
In Canada alone, the e-cig business is worth about $235 million. And their big seller, products with nicotine, aren't even supposed to be for sale here.
Cold turkey. I guess that's the message here.
But this band of merry lawbreakers isn't just peddling a smoking cessation device. What they're really selling is hope.
Tobacco was killing me. This is the only product that saved my life.
And maybe it's winning over so many smokers because e-cigs were designed by smokers. So who came up with the idea? Well, it was this Chinese pharmacist and heavy smoker named Han Lik. His dad died of lung cancer. So, desperate to quit back in 2003, Han Lik dreamt up a cigarette-like device called wean, meaning like smoke. His invention sparked an e-revolution. Take a look at these TV ads.
You know what the most amazing thing about this cigarette is? It isn't one.
With small startups taking on the tobacco giants.
Cigarettes, you've met your match.
As a commodity, e-cigs are both hot and cool.
Now I do the electronic cigarette.
And there's nothing cooler than late-night talk shows.
Got a bejeweled bottom.
And getting the pop culture seal of approval.
Willie, you know you can't play that torture trumpet to kids.
I'll just use it to vape then.
Well, there's a better way than bagpipes. E-cigs come in different shapes and sizes. Add a flavored liquid to the device, with or without nicotine. Puffing on it triggers a heater that converts the liquid into pillows of vapor. Starter kits cost about $50. E-juice sells for roughly $20 a bottle, with tantalizing tastes like Applelicious and Sex on the Peach. What the e-cigarette doesn't have, there's no combustion, no tobacco, and none of those killer carcinogens that are created when you combine the two.
Hot chocolate?
Sure.
And that's why some people see them as the future of smoking.
All right, you ready? Buckle up, Buttercup.
People like Jen Shawalski. She started smoking when she was a teen.
My children had been on me for years to quit.
Music time.
But Jen couldn't break free.
I was addicted to it, so my body needed the cigarettes. It was something I didn't have control over.
She discovered vaping and now sees e-cigs as her emancipation.
Hey! Hey. Mwah.
We quit smoking, right?
Yeah.
We've done a lot of things this year.
We have.
In 1 year.
And it was quite the year. Cancer killed Jen's husband. She knew she had to kick her habit and save herself.
And I took the smallest drag and I looked out my front window. And there were my kids, whose dad had just died from cancer. And there was their mom standing in the driveway. Using something that is known to cause cancer. And I hated myself. I felt sick to my stomach. I couldn't believe that I was doing it to them, not just myself. And I said, never, ever, ever again. They'll kill you. Plain and simple, they will kill you.
It's an easy habit to hate, but a hard one to break. Canadians spend at least $10 billion a year on cigarettes. And each year, the healthcare cost to us all about $5 billion. The man I'm on my way to meet says the battle against big tobacco has not been won, not yet. Yes, all the taxes, health warnings, and bans have helped lower the number of smokers. But every year, about 37,000 Canadians will die for a smoke.
What do you think the legacy is of big tobacco?
The legacy is death. You know, people think about smoking as yesterday's issue, but it's still one of the leading causes of death. Most people don't realize that more women in Canada die from lung cancer from smoking than from breast cancer. And so I always describe it as one of our biggest public health achievements in terms of the reduction in smoking, but also one of our most enduring public health failures because we still have 5 million people smoking in Canada.
So could the e-cigarette help those 5 million smokers?
Make clouds, not war.
Is this the new Marlboro country?
Do you think vaping is going to put cigarette smoking out of business?
I hope so. I hope so. I lost an aunt due to lung cancer, so it's kind of like a revolution, man, against these corporate cats, you know what I'm saying?
Well, bad news, guys. Those corporate cats are on to you.
There's a sweet smell in the air. I think it's the smell of money.
Big Tobacco's not trying to crush the industry. It's trying to crash the party.
Now the market for electronic cigarettes is smoking hot.
And analysts size the vaping industry at $2.5 billion, up from $1.7
$3 billion to $5 billion over the next 3 to 5 years.
Big Tobacco has big plans to grow its e-cig business. So I'm heading to England for a rare look inside one of the world's biggest cigarette makers.
This is top secret.
As Big Tobacco strikes back.
If we are part of the problem, then we should be part of the solution.
There's always more to our stories. You can see it all on our YouTube channel. Full episodes and special features that take you deep inside.
And this could save my life if I were a smoker.
All at youtube.com/CBC5th.
In many ways, smoking seems to be so dangerously outdated. Who still smokes? Well, about 1 billion people around the world. That's who. That's 1 billion lives in the crosshairs. How did we get here?
Light up the lucky, it's light up time.
Big Tobacco started building the foundation decades ago. Back in the old days, the TV ads didn't say anything about the risks of smoking.
Have a Camel with your coffee. Thanks.
Far from it.
Yes, folks, the pleasing mildness of a Camel is just as enjoyable to a doctor as it is to you or me.
Dangerous? Nah, they suggested smoking's actually good for you.
More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
Light an oasis and you'll...
That was then, the golden age of cigarette advertising. Hire a few celebrities.
Give me a cigarette, will you, hon?
Don't say cigarettes, say Philip Morris.
Add a dash of product placement in pop culture.
Let's take a Winston break. That's it! Winston's got that filter blend.
And make smoking the choice of strong, liberated women. Yep, smoking was all about freedom.
Marlboro country.
Of course, the Marlboro Man and all of its friends were banned from TV starting in the 70s. And it seemed like Big Tobacco was being beaten into a retreat. But are cigarette companies getting a second wind? I'm on my way to England to find out.
Please note this is a non-smoking flight and Air Canada also prohibits the use of these cigarettes.
A country where the number of smokers has now dropped to an all-time low. And where almost 3 million people now vape. I'm going to meet a scientist with a graphic warning why even more people should quit smoking.
David, I want you to explain this to me. What are we looking at here?
So this is a representation of the 100 or so toxicants that you find in cigarette smoke.
David O'Reilly has been researching smoking for 2 decades.
These are the toxicants that burning tobacco produces.
This chart lists dozens and dozens of dangerous toxins found in cigarettes. Like benzene, hydrogen cyanide, ammonia, cadmium, isoprene. It's a veritable circle of death. And you'll never guess where it is. On the floor of British American Tobacco, the world's second biggest cigarette maker.
It's disturbing to see this. And I wonder why you, as a tobacco company, have actually put this here.
This is a reminder of the reality, and that's why it's there on the floor. This is what we have to deal with.
As smokers switch to e-cigarettes, British American Tobacco has a choice. Let the parade pass them by or join in.
So everybody who's working in here is working on developing these new products?
BAT joined in, big time. It's the first tobacco company to release an e-cig in the UK.
It's top secret. This is where a lot of the next generation products are envisaged and created.
And that's just the start.
So here we are in one of our labs.
Sure, the company still sells billions of cigarettes in more than 180 countries.
This is the new generation.
This is the new generation. It's all happening here.
But now it's investing $800 million in what it calls tobacco harm reduction. But will it reduce harm or just keep smokers hooked on a cleaner nicotine delivery device?
The machine will take regular puffs of a certain volume and duration at regular moments.
One puff at a time, it's old tobacco versus new technology. This machine simulates what goes into your lungs when you smoke.
This is, I find, fascinating looking at these two samples here.
Yeah, so this one is generated from a cigarette, and you can see this brown tar. This is from one of our next generation vapor products, and you can see that it's clean.
Staggering.
Well, that's when you take away combustion, this is what you get.
The dirty truth of cigarettes revealed.
This is the residue that's left from the traditional tobacco cigarette. This is the residue that's left from the e-cigarette. Old cigarette, new cigarette.
Seems BAT is trying to turn over a new tobacco leaf, using the cleaner e-cig in a bid to rebrand its reputation. But hold on, isn't this the same company with the circle of death on its floor?
When you've got this here, and it's quite graphic, it just questions, why are you still making these cigarettes? Last year, British American Tobacco manufactured 600 billion cigarettes, when you know about all the dangers that are in them.
We've been a cigarette company for more than 100 years. And it's a legal product. We continue to sell it. Consumers still want cigarettes.
I know it's legal. You've shown us that there are safer alternatives to smoking, and yet you're still producing a product that's got all of these toxicants in them.
The health risks of cigarette smoking are well known. Every cigarette pack carries a health warning, and I think consumers understand the risks that they are taking by smoking cigarettes.
If you really cared about harm reduction for the public, you'd stop selling a product that contains all these known toxicants.
I don't think that's realistic. We do care about harm reduction. If we are part of the problem, as people see it, then we should be part of the solution.
Do you believe nicotine is not addictive?
I believe nicotine is not addictive, yes.
Mr. Johnston.
You know why it's not always easy to trust tobacco executives when they say they care about harm reduction?
I don't believe that nicotine or our products are addictive.
I believe nicotine is not addictive.
Because for decades, they misled the public about the dangers of smoking. That's why.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive. I believe that nicotine is not addictive.
And I too believe that nicotine is not addictive.
So can we really believe they're now in the business of saving lives?
You seem to be playing both sides of the street here. That you say, well, we want to be part of the solution. But you are part of the problem in a massive way. Do you accept that responsibility?
We accept that responsibility. That's why we are investing heavily in the research and development of safer tobacco and nicotine alternatives. And what we want to do is to offer those smokers those safer choices.
But you've seen yourself, the old tobacco executives who sat around and said that smoking isn't addictive and smoking isn't dangerous. You've seen the history. How do you deal with that now?
All I can say is judge us on our actions today. I can't change the past. I wasn't there in the past. I don't want to account for it. What I want is that people look at me and my generation in 10, 20, 30 years' time and said, yeah, those guys did the right thing.
This is an ad for BAT's e-cigarette. Maybe they haven't come a long way, baby. Addictive? Nah, look at these young, healthy people. Vaping, it seems, is all about freedom.
Pure satisfaction for smokers. Vape e-cigarettes. Experience the breakthrough.
Sound familiar? Seems like there's a new Marlboro man in town.
I've been a smoker for 20 years, and I just found the smarter alternative. Blue e-cigs.
In the US, big tobacco companies are back on the airwaves.
We're all adults here. It's time we take our freedom back. Come on, guys. Rise from the ashes.
Because ad bans don't apply to e-cigarettes. Welcome back, celebrity endorsement.
I'm Jenny McCarthy, and I finally found a smarter alternative to cigarettes. Blue e-cigs.
Welcome back, product placement.
You mind me smoking? It's not a real cigarette. Smoke is water vapor. Yeah, water.
Welcome back, strong, smoking women. Welcome back, big tobacco. Tobacco companies aren't in the e-cig business in Canada yet. So what's in store for us?
I mean, Canada right now, it's, people talk about Wild West. It's a natural experiment in public health.
As Health Canada considers regulating e-cigarettes, lives are hanging in the balance.
I don't believe there's many Canadians out there that want to keep smoking. I think that if they were given a way to quit, they probably would.
Next week on The Fifth Estate, I'm Nala Ayed on a rescue ship in the Mediterranean. Moved by rising deaths at sea, they're on constant watch on the Med. Even as opposition grows, this single vessel saves thousands fleeing poverty and war from certain death and delivers them to Europe. A desperate passage next week on The Fifth Estate.
New music from DJ Snake. That's Talk. Hey, good morning. This is Z1035. All the hits. It's the Scott and Kat Show.
As a radio morning man, Scott Fox takes great pleasure in other people's problems.
Peel police have issued a stern warning to a Mississauga teen who called 911 because her parents forced her to go to the cottage with them.
Is she getting charged for that?
No.
But Scott's got his own struggles. He's a smoker, and he's well aware it could be slowly killing him.
Z1035, all the hits. It's Fifth.
Okay, I will be back. I'm gonna go have a quick cigarette. I started smoking when I was 16. I was a DJ in nightclubs, and that was just sort of what everybody did. We're technically not allowed to smoke out here. You have to go out behind the building, but well, nobody's here this early in the morning, so whatever.
A pack-a-day smoker. Today, he's going to trade in his cigs for an e-cig.
I do have friends who used to smoke and have switched to vaping. And so they've said, you've got to try it. It's great. I would like to think this is going to be my last cigarette. Hopefully this is the last cigarette.
In the public health battle to stop smoking in Canada, Scott is the guy they're fighting over.
Back to work.
But Scott's strategy to quit smoking is opposed by none other than Health Canada. The federal agency banned the sale of nicotine e-cigs back in 2009. So, cancer-causing cigarettes? Legal. But e-cigs with nicotine? Illegal. So far, that's kept big tobacco out of the market.
Kind of feel part.
But it's put small players like Dr. Gopal Bhatnagar on Health Canada's radar.
I want to ask you about this. This has got nicotine in it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Is this legal in Canada?
Nicotine is a gray zone as far as Health Canada is concerned.
But Health Canada hasn't approved this.
None of these, no product.
Health Canada hasn't approved this. Health Canada hasn't approved this.
Health Canada has not approved any of these products.
So why does he keep selling these products? Because the heart surgeon says switching smokers will save lives.
There's no doubt that combustible tobacco use vis-a-vis smoking is the #1 cause of lung cancer. So could you imagine if we can half the number of smokers, you could literally half the number of lung cancers.
Do you believe you can?
I believe that we can. I believe that we need the support of motivated public health authorities to get a true message out. When they send mixed messages, existing smokers continue to smoke.
Just around the corner from his vape shop is Public Health Ontario. Only a few blocks away, but miles apart on this issue.
Not far from here, there's a vape shop, and it's been very popular in terms of attracting people to get them, to wean them off the cigarettes. Isn't that a step forward from a public health perspective?
Well, the first assumption is that it weans them off their cigarettes. Many people who vape also use cigarettes. They are still addicted to nicotine.
But would you support the notion that e-cigarettes are safer than cigarettes?
It's too early to say. First of all, we simply do not know how safe or dangerous they are.
But that doesn't make them dangerous.
What it does mean is that it would be wise to be very cautious until studies have been done over quite a period of time.
Person after person, testimony after testimony saying, this got me off cigarettes. I've never felt better. This has been great for my health. This has been the best thing, and the best thing to help me actually stop smoking cigarettes. Why not endorse something like that?
Well, you know, though, that anecdote is not the basis for good science or good public policy. Nicotine is one of the most addictive substances known to man. And if you can get a whole new generation of young people addicted to nicotine, that's extremely dangerous.
You only have to look to the States to see what he's worried about. Take a look at the way this tobacco company markets its e-cigs. As cigarette sales decline, could it be they're looking for replacement smokers? So sponsor a music festival or two. Plaster your brand on Instagram and Facebook.
We want our collection to always embody a freedom and a certain amount of innovation.
Offer sweet and fruity flavors. Sounds pretty enticing, right? And that could be why Health Canada's spooked.
An Alberta father is now calling for better regulations and a ban on the sale of e-cigarettes.
E-cigs have been making news, and not in a good way.
There's a new warning this morning that e-cigarettes may not be as safe as...
There's also the argument that because vaping looks like smoking, e-cigs could help renormalize the deadly habit.
Now, I know there's a lot of different theories on this. We are joined...
It's doctor versus doctor.
The health effects would be very similar to drinking coffee.
Study versus study.
But what's your view of the e-cigarette?
You know, I don't know. I can't think of anything that has split the public health community much the same as e-cigarettes. So on the one hand, it's the holy grail for smokers. It's the product that's going to help those 5 million smokers to quit and to get off inhaling smoke. On the other hand, it's the evil plot of the tobacco industry and a way of recruiting more people and to transition them to smokers.
The folks in public health may be split on e-cigs.
Hey Scott, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
But Scott's not. He's in.
All right, let's show you how it works.
Okay.
So this is something that's going to aesthetically be very similar to a cigarette. I think to start, you should try it without any nicotine to get a feel for what it's going to be
So
like.
you could actually work in reverse. Start with nicotine and then work it back.
Yeah.
Try it out.
Give it a shot.
I don't believe there's many Canadians out there that want to keep smoking.
It takes some getting used to. Holy cow.
It definitely does.
I think that if they were given a way to quit, they probably would.
While smokers like Scott make the switch to e-cigs with nicotine, Health Canada remains firmly on the fence. Over in England, it's an entirely different story. Despite the concerns, e-cigs are being promoted as a tool to save lives. No ifs, ands, or buts. Public Health England, an arm of the British government, released a report stating with certainty that e-cigarettes are 95% safer than smokes.
Good news for e-cig smokers.
A review found that they're 95% less harmful than tobacco.
The new regulatory framework for vaping devices and e-liquids.
Public Health England, no less.
And they went a bold step further. suggesting some e-cigs should be prescribed and paid for by their healthcare system.
Today, the government's own health watchdog, Public Health England, called for GPs to be given the right to prescribe them as part of it.
It was a bombshell declaration. And this woman helped light the fuse. Do you think this could be the biggest single invention to help smokers stop smoking?
Yes, I do, because they came out of smokers themselves. And I have not seen this phenomenon in all my 30 years of working in tobacco control in terms of their interest by smokers.
McNeil's report was attacked by anti-tobacco groups. Why? For promoting a product that contains nicotine, which continues the cycle of addiction.
Why would public health officials accuse you of doing something that was actually going to hurt the public's health?
Not everybody in public health accepts that nicotine could be part of the solution rather than the problem. In my view, people smoke for the nicotine, but die from the tar. We know that nicotine isn't the harmful substance in smoking.
And that kind of support has helped fire up e-cig sales. Visit a small town like Eastleigh, and you can't help but notice one of the busiest shops on Market Street is the vape shop. The owner, Alan, smoked for years. Nothing helped him quit except vaping.
Tell me about that time, if you remember it, when you sat down and you had your first vape.
Yeah.
What impact has it had on you?
It was liberating, actually, I would say.
Alan quit smoking, then quit his job and opened Anglo Vapor. He hasn't touched a cigarette in 5 years.
Any idea what you might like? There's loads of flavours. There are some that are a bit like tobacco. You can have a puff if you like.
Now lifelong smokers are showing up with a simple request. Help. People like Pat. She switched to vaping about 3 years ago.
I see a lot of people vaping and they're 20 years old. It tends to be this sort of hip thing. And you look maybe a little over late 20s, early 30s.
Yes, I would say so, yeah. 57, actually. No, 74.
74?
Yeah, where'd I get the 57 from? I don't know.
57 years of smoking.
Exactly. But I still like the smell of it.
Mm-hmm.
The naughty, but it's nice. But I would never have another cigarette.
And with more smokers making the switch, British American Tobacco jumped at this opportunity.
The World Health Organization estimates that there are currently 1 billion smokers across the globe.
Hitching its wagon to Public Health England's harm reduction campaign.
Despite the well-known health risks and pressure to quit, millions of adults choose to smoke.
BAT released a corporate video that makes this anti-tobacco crusader squirm.
We welcome the opportunity to collaborate on making the concept of tobacco harm reduction a reality.
After years of fighting big tobacco, as you have, now you're on the same side on this.
I'll never be on the same side as British American Tobacco and other tobacco companies. There's a lot I would take offence at in what they've said. Smokers very quickly become addicted and become dependent. It's not a choice, it's an addiction.
But like it or not, and clearly she doesn't, Public Health England and BAT agree e-cigarettes are safer for smokers.
Do you see big tobacco as part of the solution?
Sadly, yes. I mean, I think the
Why do you say sadly?
Because they've caused the harm. And yes, I'd rather they go out of business, but sadly, that's not going to happen.
So what would your advice be for Canadian public health officials who are looking at this debate?
To me, it seems unethical to prohibit nicotine in e-cigarettes and leave tobacco cigarettes on the market. We should be allowing people who are addicted to nicotine to get that nicotine in the least harmful way possible.
Stuck between a smoke and a hard place, Health Canada now says it's poised to change the rules around the sale of e-cigarettes. And Canada's largest tobacco company is ready to pounce.
Are you telling me that Imperial Tobacco is pro-health?
It's tough to walk the streets of any Canadian city and not spot a vape shop selling e-cigarettes.
The sign says, "No smoking, vaping only."
The first store opened in Canada in 2010. And since then, more than 600 of them have popped up across the country. Even though Health Canada does not approve the sale of e-cigarettes with nicotine.
I mean, Canada right now, it's, people talk about Wild West. It's a natural experiment in public health, and from the government standpoint, it's see no evil, hear no evil.
Well, there's a new sheriff riding into the Wild West. The Liberal government says it will soon table new rules to regulate the e-cig industry. No details yet, just a vague promise to protect kids from nicotine and keep up the fight against big tobacco.
But here's the twist. By making nicotine e-cigs legal, the door could be open for big tobacco to get into the game. The company behind some of Canada's most popular cigarette brands wants in. Montreal's Imperial Tobacco hopes to follow in the footsteps of its parent company, British American Tobacco.
What would Imperial Tobacco like to do in Canada? Would you like to manufacture, be able to market e-cigarettes?
Yes, I mean, the objective would be to be able to provide the consumers with different, less harmful product that they could then choose and hopefully, you know, move away from the cigarette industry. You know, I have 2 kids. I don't want my kids to smoke. To be honest, I think we support reasonable and evidence regulation, especially the ones aimed at keeping tobacco products out of the hand of kids.
Are you telling me that Imperial Tobacco is pro-health?
What I'm telling you is that our objective is to put on the market less harmful product for consumers that want to stop smoking. We will continue to put out cigarettes because that's what we do.
But you sell cigarettes. Why would you want to?
Because we have, well, it's the same reason why Coke has Diet Coke and they have water. So that means with that thinking, there's no way that Coke could sell water, or there's no way McDonald's could sell a salad. Why aren't we allowed to sell a less harmful product?
But anything big tobacco touches puts the guardians of public health on high alert.
You know, to me, it's not about big tobacco or little tobacco. It's about a conflict of interest. And let's be clear, the tobacco company's main interest is in selling cigarettes. That is where they continue to make very large profits. So it's not a moral issue for me. It's that that's where their interests lie. And I don't think you want someone like that being a stakeholder in terms of how other nicotine products should be sold in Canada.
But it may be a moral issue for Health Canada. After decades of fighting with tobacco companies, could the two sides work together to get smokers to switch?
When you go to the government and you say, Health Canada, get your act together, we want to be able to sell e-cigarettes, what do they say back to you?
Well, just to be clear, it's not like we have access to the Health Minister or Health Canada, right?
You don't? You can't pick up the phone and call them and say...
No, unfortunately. I mean, we know that the anti-tobacco lobbyists have an opportunity to talk to them on many occasions. We don't have that possibilities. And we do believe we're part of the solution and not the problem, but we don't have the ability to have those discussions, unfortunately.
Because I don't think they trust you.
At the end of the day, what's the end goal of the Health Canada? If it's to reduce smoking rate and have a positive impact on public health, that's what they should be concerned about. And if a tobacco company can contribute to that, they should be open to have that dialogue.
At this street festival of Canadian e-juice makers, these smokers turned vapors want to be heard.
It's been 5 months since I quit smoking. Enough is enough. Let's vape.
They hope Health Canada will follow England's lead and embrace e-cigarettes as a powerful tool to fight a deadly addiction.
Hi! How are you? Oh my goodness.
Jen Shawalski, whose husband, the smoker, died from cancer, is adding her name to the list of survivors.
I quit smoking because of vaping on April 28th, 2015, and I have not had a cigarette since.
We are all fighting for the same thing. That is to live. That is to get off of smoking.
She hopes just because some e-cigarettes contain nicotine, Health Canada won't continue to tar them with the same brush as cigarettes.
42-year smoker, 2-year vapor, grandma's vape.
We quit smoking May 1st, 2016.
2016. Woo!